Welcome back. And there it is. 15 games. All tomorrow. Every team's playing except the Jets. Considering the 6 losses in a row, it might be better for the Jets to have a day off. And there's just one game on Sunday. And then Monday, this board's nearly full again. We got 14 games on Monday. So this is going to be kind of crazy. All right. So it starts at 1 p.m. Eastern, which of course is 10 a.m. Pacific. And it's Buffalo in against Boston. This is their last matchup. Boston's won 6 out of 7. Buffalo's 13-31-7 now. Boston's 29-14-6, and they basically clinched that last spot. Can they move up? It's possible. Do I think they will? Probably not, but we'll see, right? So on the Buffalo side, keep an eye on Sam Reinhart since they moved him to center. He's been excellent. 23 goals, 14 assists, 37 points. On the Boston side, Marchand, 60 points now. 27 goals, 33 assists, 60 points. Another really good season for Marchand. Over their last 10, Buffalo's 3-6-1, Boston 8-2. So they're getting it together. Boston's doing well. A lot of it's against Buffalo, so we'll see how things go for the rest of the season. But so far, yeah, it's looking pretty good. Then at 3 Eastern, which is noon Pacific, we will get into it with Tampa Bay and Detroit. So Tampa Bay 34-14-2. Detroit 17-26-9. Tampa Bay has won 4 out of 6, which means Detroit's beaten them twice. So Tampa Bay cannot overlook Detroit. On the Tampa Bay side, Palat's been red hot. 15 goals, 30 assists, 45 points. A lot of points. On the Detroit side, I'll keep an eye on Zadina. 5 goals, 13 assists, 18 points. Come on, Zadina, get her going. Last 10, Tampa Bay 7-3. Detroit 4-3-3, meaning they're keeping teams honest and they're doing well considering their overall record. Then we jump ahead 4 hours. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games starting at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern, and it's busy from there. So I will do my best. I will keep track of the games that have playoff ramifications more than the ones that don't, because there are games now that have no playoff ramifications whatsoever. The Islanders at home against the Rangers. This does have a bit of a playoff ramification because the Islanders still looking to move up, right? The Islanders 30-15-5. The Rangers want to stay relevant. If Boston loses against Buffalo and they win, right? There's always that hope. So 26-19-6 is a record for the Rangers. The Islanders have won 5 out of 7, so this is the last time these teams will see each other. Zibanejad, 20 goals, 26 assists. I can't think of a better hot and cold player this year than Zibanejad. Eberle, 15 goals, 17 assists for him. He's been very steady for the New York Islanders throughout. Over their last 10, the Rangers are 7-3. The Islanders 4-5-1. So again, the Rangers doing what they did last year, looking like towards the end of the year, there's something really, really good on the horizon. Hopefully next year they can sustain that. Also at 7 Eastern, the New Jersey Devils in against the Philadelphia Flyers. Both teams have won 3 times in this series. New Jersey 16-27-7. They have won their last 2, both against the Flyers, which got them eliminated from the playoffs. The Flyers 22-21-7. What are you going to watch for in this game? Well, if you're a New Jersey fan, Sharon Govich is finally getting the goals and points to show what we've known all year. He's pretty darn good. 14 goals and 12 assists for him. Couturier on the Philly side has had a good season on a team that hasn't had a good season. 15 goals, 21 assists for him over their last 10. New Jersey's 2-7-1 and Philadelphia's 3-6-1. So it's been a rough ride for New Jersey and Philadelphia since the trade deadline. Then at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, Pittsburgh and Washington. This was an epic battle last night. I expect an epic battle again tomorrow. Pittsburgh's now 33-15-3. The Capitals 32-13-5. Pittsburgh has won 5 out of 7. They kind of have Washington's number. We'll see if it happens again tomorrow. Brian Rust, always dangerous, fast, fantastic player. 20 goals, 19 assists for him this year. Daniel Sprong has been filling in well for Ovechkin. 11 goals, 7 assists for him so far this year. Over their last 10, both teams are 7-2-1. Nothing to choose between the two over their last 10 games. And on that power rankings board that's behind me, they're right next to each other right now. We'll see if they are again tomorrow night when I do the power rankings and how upset people are going to be at that. There's going to be a lot of movement tomorrow. Just saying, 15 games, and then there's 14 on Monday. Yeah, but over the next... Tomorrow is the second to last power rankings of the season as well, so keep that in mind. Then at 7 Eastern, Columbus and Carolina. Columbus 16-25-10. After that, if people want to get mad at me, they get mad at me for the reporting on the playoff games. So don't worry if you're like, well, how am I going to get mad at him? There will be plenty of occasions where you can get mad during the playoffs. So Columbus 16, 25, and 10. Carolina 33, 10, and 7. Carolina's won 4 out of 7, so this is the final meeting. But against Columbus and Detroit, Carolina has had their struggles this year, comparatively speaking, with the rest of the division. Seth Jones, rough year for him, 5 goals, 19 assists, up and down season anyways. On the Carolina side, Aho, 21 goals, 30 assists, very, very reliable point producer for Carolina. Over their last 10, Columbus 1-7-2, and Carolina 6-1-3. So, and that one win for Columbus, a 1-0 shootout victory over Detroit. So, go get them, Blue Jackets, I guess. We'll see what happens tomorrow. If this is a trap game, I don't think it is. I have not used the Akbar magnets all year. I can't wait to start using them again next season. 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. The Ottawa Senators in against Montreal. And I was tempted to wear Ottawa for this preview, but I'll explain why I'm wearing Vancouver when we get to that game. Ottawa, 19-27-4. They've won 5 out of 8 against Montreal, who are 22-18-9. But for Montreal, it's a back-to-back. And I like Ottawa's chances. I just do. Ottawa, Josh Norris has had an excellent rookie season, 15 goals, 17 assists. On the Montreal side, Suzuki woke up tonight, got some points, 12 goals, 21 assists for him now, 33 points. It's been a rough year for Suzuki. If he can pick it up going to the playoffs, that gives them a much better chance. Over their last 10, Ottawa's 6-4, Montreal is now 4-6. So Montreal, if they win this and they get some help elsewhere, I mean, they're basically making the playoffs anyways. However, Calgary's not completely out of this yet. They're close, but not completely. So yeah, we'll see if Ottawa can continue upsetting the Habs. Vancouver and Toronto. I'm not wearing Vancouver because I think they're going to win. In fact, I wore this jersey specifically because this was the first jersey I ever owned. This is just the updated version of that jersey. The original from 1991 kind of beat up. So yeah, not wearing that one because it's really beat up. But I found this one on eBay and ordered it. And as Vancouver's going down this stretch where it's going to be just impossible, and I expect it to get really ugly, I really think this is where the real fans show up. I think this is, honestly, with the season they've had, I'm not saying you have to blindly cheer for them, but some of the stuff I see about, I hate this team, and I hate this, and I hate that, it's like, come on, guys. Like, really? Again, I just find that interesting. Now, both teams have won 4 times in this season series. We'll see. I think Toronto wins this probably 5-0, 4-1, something like that. Vancouver 19-22-3. Toronto 32-13-5. JT Miller, who's also taken a lot of criticism this year, 11 goals, 23 assists, 34 points. I think he's been good. I think this is more indicative of the kind of player he is. I think last year was awesome, but I think this is more along the lines of what we're going to get. And Marner, 18 goals, 44 assists, and now Austin Matthews is out there talking about how I think Marner's underrated. Well, don't ask me. Marner's been the guy that I've said at times has been the MVP for Toronto, to which I'm usually met with incredulity, and what are you talking about? Matthews is the MVP. Okay, sure. It's just an opinion thing, so it's fine. Vancouver, 3-6-1. What do you mean it's not fine? Vancouver's 3-6-1 in their last 10. Again, I honestly would not be surprised if they end up not getting 25 shots in a game for the rest of the season, and if they end up losing out. But for Toronto, 5-3-2 over their last 10. They've won 4 in a row, and they look like they're ready to clinch first place and then just go from there. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. And remember, Toronto has not been in this position in a very long time, where they're first in the division and they're a favorite going into their series against anybody. Both times against Boston, they were underdogs, and against the Caps, they were underdogs. Last year against Carolina, they were favorites, but not by a, or against Carolina. Against Columbus, they were favorites, but not by a lot. So we'll see what happens when we get to the playoffs this year. 8 o'clock Eastern, we got Minnesota at home against St. Louis. This is a matchup St. Louis loves, apparently. They've won 4 out of 5. They're 23-19-6 now overall. And Minnesota 31-14-4, probably hoping they don't see St. Louis at some point in the playoffs. Kyrou, 11 goals, 19 assists. The points have started to equal his work ethic yet again. And so we'll see whether or not Minnesota can keep him off the board. Fiala, 18 goals, 17 assists, electrifying forward. And with Kaprizov hitting I'm not going to say a wall, but it's been a little slower for him lately. Fiala's really picked it up. So over their last 10, St. Louis is now 7-3 as they solidify their hold on 4th place, and Minnesota 7-1-2. So still doing quite well, but probably hoping St. Louis goes away, which they're not because they still got 3 games left against them, including tomorrow. 8 o'clock Eastern as well as the start time for Florida in against Chicago. Florida 33-14-5. Florida's won 5 out of 7. They're going to try to make it 6 out of 8. On the Chicago side, 22-22-6, and hoping to. Their chances of making the playoffs are basically nil, but you might as well try while you're mathematically alive. Sam Bennett, 9 goals, 14 assists, 23 points. Remarkable. He has 11 points since arriving in Florida. He had 12 in Calgary. It's just been remarkable to watch him, and he had the overtime winner the last game. Kubalik, 16 goals, 16 assists for Chicago. After a slow start, he really picked it up. So there's a lot of positives if you're a Chicago fan out of this year as well. Over their last 10, Florida's 7-2-1, Chicago 4-5-1. So they've fallen back. And for Chicago, it really is that they don't play well against the top teams. Carolina, Tampa, and Florida have been basically the ones that have off their chances of making the playoffs. Good news, they're not in the same division with any of them next season. So there's a bonus right there for Chicago. Then also at 8 Eastern, we've got Dallas and Nashville. So this is their final meeting as well. Nashville's now won 4 out of 7. Remember early in the year when Dallas was destroying them? Neither does Dallas. Dallas is 21-17-12 overall. The Nashville Predators 27-22-2. And if they win this one in regulation tomorrow, that it doesn't cinch it, but it makes it that much easier. Dallas only has 1 game in hand left on them now. Pavelski, 21 goals, 23 assists. I guarantee Nashville's going to key on him, make sure he doesn't get on the board or do their best to make sure that happens. Yarncroke, 12 goals, 13 assists. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get on the board. Over their last 10, Dallas is 6-3-1. Nashville's 5-4-1. So over their last 10, Dallas has gained 2 points overall on Nashville. And that's just not, the math doesn't work out that way if they have that same rate of catching up to them over the next couple of weeks. And then at 8 Eastern as well, 5 Pacific, San Jose and Colorado will go at it again. San Jose will look for a better result tomorrow. They're 20-25-5 now. Colorado's 32-12-4, probably looking at first place in the division and saying, we might have a shot. Colorado's won 4 out of 5 against San Jose. Erik Karlsson, 6 goals, 13 assists, 19 points. Prominent player out there. Again, I think he's had a better year than last year, but we'll see what happens in the offseason and how San Jose fixes this. Rantanen, big return for him. 27 goals, 28 assists, 55 points. Just huge night for him. We'll see if he can do it again tomorrow. Over their last 10, San Jose's 2-7-1. Colorado's 6-4. So they've come out very nicely with all these players being back. Tonight, watching that game, I was like, oh, okay, so Colorado's back. Done. That's it. Everybody's back in, and it just worked. Sometimes it doesn't. In Colorado's case, it did. Then at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, we've got Calgary and Edmonton. Battle of Alberta being tested again. Calgary's going to look to win again. Edmonton has won 5 out of 9, so this is the final meeting between the two. And barring a miracle for Calgary, this is the final meeting of the season as well. They won't have a chance to meet in the playoffs if Calgary doesn't make it, right? Calgary's 22-24-3. The Oilers 29-17-2. Milan Lucic, keep an eye on him. 9 goals, 11 assists, and some penalty minutes, and maybe the chance of a fight. McDavid, all eyes will be on him. 28 goals, 56 assists, 84 points. He needs 16 points from here. Can he get it? Maybe. But in the last 2 games against Calgary, he's come up with nada. So he's going to be looking to change that result tomorrow. Over their last 10, Calgary 6-4. The Oilers are 6-3-1. And again, if you're a Flames fan, I don't think there's going to be a change at GM or coach. Just throwing out there, I think everything's going to stay the same there. In fact, the caution that I've heard from media and Sportsnet is we may not even see big changes from the team in the offseason. They might be very minor changes. So we'll see how that goes. 10 o'clock Eastern as well, 7 o'clock Pacific. Vegas and Arizona meet again. Vegas is going to be ornery tomorrow after being shut out. They're 35-12-2 overall. Arizona's 22-24-5, clinging to that hope that St. Louis will fall out and they can get in. Vegas has won 5 out of 7, meaning this is the final meeting between these two teams. William Karlsson, 13 goals, 20 assists, robbed a couple of times tonight. Kind of expect him to get one tomorrow. Schmaltz, great play tonight. We'll see if he can do it again tomorrow. 10 goals, 22 assists for Nick Schmaltz. Over their last 10, Vegas is 9-1. Arizona now 3-7. So that's where things change. 7-3 for St. Louis, 3-7 for Arizona, 14 points to 6. And that's why the race for fourth doesn't really look like there's any tension left in it. Also at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, LA and Anaheim, meaning that tomorrow, when I'm reviewing these 13 games, I will end on LA and Anaheim. So you're welcome, everybody. 19, 23, and 6 now is the record for LA. LA has won 4 out of 7 in this meeting, so this is the last matchup. I'm sorry, I know this is Battle of the Titans. Anaheim 15, 29, and 7. Anderson Dolan was prominent tonight, and he was the only one with Anderson in his name that didn't get on the board for the Kings. So I'll take him for tomorrow. 6 goals, 4 assists. And Max Jones, who was all over the ice tonight, just couldn't get a goal. 5 goals, 4 assists for him on the season. Over their last 10, LA's 4-6, Anaheim's 3-7, and I swear these teams could play only each other and still end up below 500 somehow. But that rounds out 15 games. Let me know your winners for tomorrow's games in the comment section below as always. And best of luck. This is one of the last really busy days. Once we get into the playoffs, we get 4. You might get a night of 5. You might at worst get a night of 6. But in general, the playoffs are a much lighter schedule. So I will admit I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think that's going to be fun. The playoffs, it's always fun. Each series gets its own board. Each series gets its own videos. And again, as a Canuck fan, I will be watching the Canucks down the stretch. I have zero expectation. And I don't have an emotional attachment to what's going on. I just want to make sure nobody gets hurt. And that, we see some positives out of all this after the season's done. All right. Let me know your thoughts, like always. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe as well if you're just browsing your way through. And I'm aware that the hat doesn't match the jersey. I don't have an orange and gold brimmed hat other than the one with the V on it. And this is skate. This is technically a V hat as well, but it's red, so close. All right. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.